One question I get asked a lot on YouTube comments inside of my community is, hey, how do our clients edit these websites if they are completely vibe coded and designed by AI? So in this video, I'm going to break down our exact process for handing over vibe coded websites over to our clients so they can manage them themselves. Now, for a lot of the stuff that we do at Brave Brand, we do manage our clients' websites for them for a fee per month. But some clients, they want to go out, do it themselves, and they want to have that autonomy and that flexibility, and that's A-OK. So the way that our clients make changes to their websites after we've designed it for them is the client requests in plain English to their coding agent, whether that be Claude Code, Codex, or any sort of OpenClaw agent, doesn't matter. The agent takes the client's requests, makes the changes to the website via GitHub, where the master copy of the code base is stored. So GitHub essentially stores the website files and every single saved version, and then that automatically, when that code base updates, the publisher where the website is hosted, which could be Cloudflare, Vercel, or Netlify, automatically updates. And then once that is updated on the URL, the live website is updated just like that. No more going in, drag and dropping, pressing the wrong buttons, going through plugins, etc., etc. All right, so we're going to do that right now. So let's say now you've designed your website in Claude Code, you've completely custom vibe coded it. The first thing that you're going to need to do is go away and set up a GitHub account. Now, the way that we do this is we push all of the code base for your client onto your own agency GitHub account as a private setup. What we'll do once the GitHub code is there is we'll be giving your client access to that code base in particular so that agent can go in and make changes. That way you, as the operator and the creator of the code base, can see any of the changes and help them if they need it, if they screw something up in the future. So we host our clients' code bases on our GitHub and give them direct access to it. And you can actually get this set up on their own code base if you want to. It's just a case of personal preference and how your business is ultimately set up. So you're going to want to go ahead and set up a GitHub account. All right. So once you're inside of GitHub, you're going to be able to set up your own profile, and you'll see here that you'll have a mix between public repositories, and a repository is just where your code base is stored, or you're going to have the majority of your private code bases over here. Okay, so you can see all of our client sites are here, and this is where we're essentially managing all of them. Okay, so I'm just going to go to one of our own curated sites, and you can see here, this is essentially what GitHub looks like. You've got all of the code base set up here. And guys, the beautiful thing about this is you don't really even have to look here. All we need to make sure is that your website and your client's code base is private. It's very, very important from a security standpoint. All right, so then you're going to go over to Cloudflare and you're going to sign up to Cloudflare. So just log in through Google and you'll be good to go. But both of these platforms, and the coolest thing about these agentic tools at the moment is that they pretty much will use most of them. And there are a few ways that you can get your agent to log in. So now that you've got your two profiles set up, you're going to go back to your coding agent and you're going to tell it exactly what to do. Please go ahead and push this entire code base onto my GitHub repository, create a new repository, and make sure that it is private. All right, so at this point, GitHub will prompt you to set up authentication via GitHub. It'll give you a link where you just click it, authenticate it, and it'll get you in. If anything is not clear on how to get Claude authenticated into GitHub, just ask Claude Code. Break this down for me step by step. It is so easy now to get some of these technical things up where you just push Claude to tell you exactly what to do and it'll do it. So essentially what's going to happen now is Claude will ask you for access to your GitHub, and it might do that through an authentication method. You've just got to follow the steps it gives you step by step. It's relatively straightforward. AI can guide you through pretty much anything these days, provided you know what you're asking it. And we're asking it to get this code base up onto GitHub. It's going to help you do that step by step. So if anything is not clear, just ask Claude Code. It'll break it down for you. All right, so you can see here now that our project is pushed successfully to GitHub. So if I just click this link, our entire site now lives over here, and you can see that it is private. All right, so all I really need to do now is go to my hosting platform. Okay, I'm going to go to Cloudflare. Now, you could be using Netlify, you could be using anything at this point, but the majority of the sites that we're doing are on Cloudflare at this stage. Now, it's also got very generous free tiers. So I'm going to go here to add, I'm going to click pages, and I'm going to go import existing Git repository. Okay, my GitHub is already connected at this stage. You will have to just connect your GitHub to Cloudflare, which is pretty straightforward. And you'll see that all of your GitHub repositories are actually loaded over here. So I'm going to click apex.os. I'm going to go begin setup. That's fine. Build settings, fine. Okay, so project is now up. Continue. All right, so you can see that it's actually created a .dev domain over here. So we can connect it to a proper domain in a moment. But if you see there, I just click on it and our website is live, guys, and hosted. Everything works completely smoothly, and that is connected via GitHub itself. Now, obviously, in this instance, this Cloudflare account will be your client's, and your client can give you access to do that. But it is so easy to connect it to a GitHub repository, and you've just seen exactly how that is done now. So at this point, whether you've connected your client's site to their own GitHub repository or yours, it doesn't really matter. We can connect it to Cloudflare, Netlify, all the same way, just by connecting it via GitHub itself. Now, what we're going to do is just a little test. I'm going to change this H1 as if I was actually a client. I'm going to say, I want to change what this actually says. All right. And so what I'm going to do for this example and this test is I'm going to go onto Codex and I'm going to tell it not to work in a project. So just imagine I'm on a completely different machine right now. I'm not connected to any local host project. I'm just going to go to GitHub. I'm going to copy the private link of this, go to Codex, and I'm going to say, can you get access to this project so you can start making some changes to it? Okay, so the thing is, I'm already authenticated to the repo, but at this stage, it's just going to prompt your client to log into GitHub, which will then give their coding agent access to their own website's repository. So just imagine I'm the client for now. Okay, I really want to make changes to the H1 on the hero section of the website. Can you brainstorm a few options on what could be better for my business? So you can see it can read everything directly from GitHub right now because it's connected to the code base and says blah, 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 sounds premium and cinematic, but a little abstract, correct? Okay, so a nice 3-line hero section that fits the current layout where performance becomes programmable, adaptive training for serious athletes. Okay, let's just go for this one. I choose this. Can you please push this to GitHub so it reflects on the live website? If we just go back to our site over here, that's what it is so far. And let's just wait for Codex now to push the change to GitHub. Okay, so you can see Codex is done. So we're going to go over to our site now and we're just going to hit refresh. Okay, so you can see just like that, that has changed. And the best thing about it is the AI ultimately guided me, aka the client, through it. So, you know, it could basically be brainstorming in here and then ultimately get changes made directly to the site. So that is one piece of the puzzle. And that's how we make changes to AI sites that are connected to actual live URLs and hosted on sites like Cloudflare, Netlify, whatever. Now, what you'll notice here is because we made a change to GitHub, you'll see the change was made literally a minute ago. And so every single change that comes through is tracked here accordingly. And you can also see here how long ago on GitHub it was actually updated. All right, so that is the system on how we actually give the websites that we design over to our clients so that they can use AI to ultimately make any change they want in pure natural language. Now, that to me is way more intuitive than getting your clients to log into GHL, start dragging and dropping stuff, WordPressing stuff. You know, ultimately, this is the future because the agents are just going to get smarter. So as AI progresses, so are your clients' abilities to ultimately make changes to their site. And we're also empowering our clients, you know, to be able to use future technologies, and they'll really, really appreciate that. But that's how we work. That's how we give AI vibe-coded sites over to our clients so they can host them and their clients can make change and they're not locked in, which is something a lot of clients are very concerned about. All right, my friends, so if you found that useful, drop a comment below. Let me know what you'd like to see next.